In our last episode, we travelled up to Swellendam to help Richard, Ali and Roy prepare their B&B, the Schoonwoord Country House, for a wedding of 150 people the following weekend. The food was excellent, and the company was even better. When I consider our history as a species, human beings have been nomadic scavenging beach bums and bush babies for far longer than we've lived in houses or had running water. If it squirted, squeaked or breathed, it invariably ended up being slapped on the coals and cooked in the great outdoors. And it's only in the last couple of 100 years or so that we've forgotten the knowledge that made us the most successful hunter-gatherers and gastronomic kings and queens on the planet. My name is Justin Bonello and welcome to Cooked. So it's a very good morning for our 11th episode. We're on our way up to the Cape Columbine Nature Reserve to a spot called the Beach Camp on the west coast. It's a beautiful tented spot right on the coast, no electricity, just fire and paraffin lamps. And I've got a really great menu planned for everyone. There's lots of salads and stuff, a lot of seafood, and we're going to start off the day with alikrik, which is a giant snail, sea snail that we're going to dive out when we get there. Cape Columbine Nature Reserve, the beach camp. Now, I've been going to the beach camp for more than 4 years now because it's one of those beautiful spots that no one knows about. Which makes me think, why am I even telling you about it? I feel like I'm becoming a regular here, man.
I can't be on camera, cops are looking.
How's it, Bro? How's it, Quentin? You're a new face? Yeah. Ish? We've had a bit of a welcome drink and it's time to unpack the van, settle in a little bit so that I can go and do a little bit of a quick dive in the water for some alikrik. Hopeful, cross the fingers. The guys say that might be more hope than actual food, but we'll give it a shot. But I think it's time to settle in. What are you looking at? So you think you're sleeping on tents at the coast, when what you actually have is a bed. And you wake up in the morning, if you come inside, you have that as your view, which is just spectacular. So we're just going to suit up and head out there. Close your eyes. Did you survive? Sweating.
You need to get into that water quick. Just, what's your voice concentration?
I'm going to the water, but I can't stand here much longer. By their nature, wetsuits are designed to keep you warm when you're in the water. However, when you're not in the water, they quickly become a roasting oven for human beings. That's so much better. As is often the case with nature and nature's bounty, we didn't get what we were looking for. In fact, we found everything but what we were looking for. But it's still edible. We were a little bit unsuccessful in our dive this afternoon, and instead of getting alikrik, aka giant periwinkles, we got his smaller cousin, which is periwinkle. They taste the same, they're just a little bit more difficult to eat because you've got to hook them out from their shell with a pin, pull off the datum, which is the guts, and then you're just going to dip it in some garlic butter or a little bit of vinegar and eat them just like that. I'm going to use what's called a Dutch oven, potjie pot. And it's been around South Africa since the cows came home. We're just going to wait for the wine to arrive. Okay, Natalie, can't you bring me the wine, please? Stop buggering around now, man.
Here you go.
Thanks, Nat. Now, what I really like about this is that it's real beachcomber stuff. It takes you an hour and a half to collect them, and then just 5 to 8 minutes to cook them. And you're just going to dump the whole lot into the pot. You can already hear how hot the pointy pot is. Splash of white wine, put on the lid and let them steam. Now I'm gonna... Now the fantastic thing about periwinkles is that it's not a glamorous meal. This is something you're going to eat with your fingers. You have to take a pin, dig it in behind the foot, and pull out the meat. Now this section over here, and you'll need an extreme close-up of that, is the datum, or the gut. You're going to toss that away, and you see this back part here? From there you're going to pull that all off with your thumb until you're left with just a piece of meat like that. You're going to dip that in a little bit of garlic butter. And you can also dip it in a little bit of vinegar. Pull that off. Periwinkles aren't the sort of meal you have every day, and for most of my friends this was their first experience.
Come on, Tanya, you can eat this. It hasn't got a face.
And it's a vegetarian.
Yes. I've been tucking in here.
No, trying to open the wine.
Oh, you mean do the really useful stuff.
Last night, as we were about to climb into bed, this massive fog bank pulled in. And in a sense, you almost expected Jack Sparrow to sail in on the Black Pearl into our little cove. Kind of hoping that it's going to lift today during the day, because I've got this lovely summery meal planned. But if it's like this, well, you won't understand the beautiful place we're in. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. Yeah, I'm going to go and get some mussels and stuff now for lunch. I say late lunch, actually. Now, you may think we're sissies for putting on a wetsuit to jump into the water, but truth be told, the water temperature here is 10 degrees, and if you're not used to it, hypothermia in 15 minutes. And we're going to wander around in chest-deep water while we're looking for the West Coast black mussels. They're going to be sort of subsurface. We're going to scratch around for a little bit of lunch. And Bo and I have the unfortunate task of going in there. Pig before the swine, Bo. It's turned into a magnificent day. I'm standing out here in the sun, about to prepare a little bit of dessert for everyone. You do the dessert first, even though it's eaten last, because it's probably going to take the longest in our little menu today. Everyone, Sunil, you have to take a squeeze inside, is sitting at the bar, relaxing, tanning and things. I'm in the midday heat, so I'm going to get straight into what we're doing today, and it's an apple crumble, because that's dessert. It'll be fantastic with cream and stuff, and I've got some apples from my mate Gareth's farm. These are galas. These are golden delicious. We'll mix them up, slice them up, and turn it into a lovely dessert. Now, the great thing about an apple crumble is that it's really one of the simplest things to make, and virtually everyone will love it. So the first thing I have to do is peel 18 apples, medium-sized ones. That's because we're making 3 dishes of apple crumble. So I'm going to get straight into that and get a couple of people to help me. Garth! They're far prettier than you are, eh? Essentially all you need is 18 apples, medium-sized apples, because I'm doing 3 baking trays. And what we're going to do is pan fry those for like 3 or 4 minutes in a little brown sugar. 3 teaspoons of cinnamon and a splash of water, just until they go soft and translucent. And you're going to put them into a butter greased pan, and then you're going to make the crumble part of it, which just has 450 grams of flour and 670 grams of cake flour. And then over here, melting in the sun, it's 450 grams of butter. Have fun. Mix, mix, mix. She did ask. Look at that, all that sugar caramelizing all over the apples. That's magnificent. How's that doing, Cassie? Looking nicely crumbled. Now the next part on that's going to be the addition of a whole whack of brown sugar, like 225 grams. You're now going to just mix it. You stir it in now. You don't want to compress it or anything like that. It's supposed to be crumbled, yeah. So just stir it in with your fingers, yeah. All of it. I'm going to make one of them a blueberry one straight, just so you can check it out. So Cassie, no, don't clean your fingers yet. Now pick that up and crumble it all over the surface, just loose, you know. And there's 3 of them, so you know you're going to use about 1/3 of that. Then 45 minutes after or before we want our apple crumble, we're going to chuck it in an oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 45 minutes. And this will caramelize and go all beautiful on top. Serve it with some whipped cream as dessert. And I think with our last batch, we're going to chuck in the berries. Blueberry apple crumble pie. So now that our dessert is almost finished, I'm going to go and grab the mussels, collect a bit earlier on, start steaming them up for the other part of early dinner. Take these inside, put them next to the oven for when we're ready to chuck them in.
Can't touch me.
What happened to your toe?
Hey, it's that thing over there, that catapult.
No, what happened to your toe?
The big one. I whacked it with a catapult.
While everyone gets to go for a little sea kayak, I get to cook lunch. I'm quite happy about that because I love West Coast mussels. Just a quick word of advice though. When you get black mussels off the coast, always check with the locals if there's a red tide or not, because really there's nothing to compare to seafood poisoning. So it's straightforward now, a little bit of wine from lunch. I don't bother cleaning the mussels because what we're actually going to do is take, when they've steamed, we're going to pull them out of the shell and take the beard off. That's that fibrous little section over there. So I'm going to have to do 2 batches. Vino, a little bit of pouring here. Probably about a cup. Now it's going to probably take about 5 minutes. You can imagine the wine's going to steam up and open those mussels for you. I'm going to go and sit in the shade for like 5 minutes, have a beer. So Evan, it's been 5 minutes, maybe 8, and you can see what's happening on the pot starting to bubble up like that. So now you don't want mussels to overcook because, like most things, if you leave them on for too long, they're going to become tough. I'm going to take this off the heat. All we have to do is let them cool down for a couple of seconds, and then what we're going to start doing is pulling them out of the shell. Over there, Garth, come give us a hand, but if they don't open like that when you chuck them, this is probably dead.
Give it back to the sea, eh?
Give it back to the sea, nothing goes to waste. Yeah, we've got a second dessert this evening. There's a local guy here called Pittman who's an artist, and a guy called Vernon Swart. They've got a band called the Robert Villain, the Villain band. Experience. A bit later on they're going to play for us while we sit around the fire. So now all we're going to do is go through all the mussels we went and got this morning, take out the bed, and then I'm going to start the next lesson. Can I leave you to do this for a second, Garth? I'm going to go fetch a couple of things, eh? What I really didn't say when I said I've got to go off and get a couple of things is that I'm making a seafood salad. It's a Thai seafood salad in a sense because we're going to use garlic, ginger, chilies, soy sauce, sesame oil, lime juice, some brown sugar, some mangoes and stuff, and do some prawns on the fire. Fantastic. These are already been deveined, cleaned out and that by Nick and Garth. And then we're going to mix in a whole whack of ingredients and you're going to end up with beautiful flavors. The only thing I'm missing is some chili. By the way, these are chilies from my garden. What I'm going to do with all of this is that we have a mixture in here of rocket, tatsoi. I've got some pak choy over here, some pepper lettuce, some small baby beetroot leaves. Those are just the basis of the salad. Then we're going to add a couple of ingredients on. I'm going to start off with the mange too. These we aren't even going to blanch. Chuck them in, and you don't need to cook them in this sort of summery salad because you want it to be crisp and crunchy and the whole lot. I'm going to take a handful of mussels. Now these have got that salty flavor from when they've been steamed in the white wine, straight on. And when you mix this up later on and toss it around and things, those salty flavors will be coated on the leaves. I think the first thing I've got to do is get the prawns on the go. Now how you tell if prawns are done, literally, is when they change color. For me, you overdo them, they're going to go all flowery, so these aren't going to take that long. And that's straight. We haven't even marinated these because the flavor is going to come from all the ingredients in the salad. So all we've got in the salad bowl at this point is a couple of salad leaves, a whole mixture of them, and mussels. You're going to take some chopped up garlic and ginger, chuck it in your mortar and pestle. This is a whole head of garlic, but it's quite a big salad, and don't be scared of like that biting flavor. Right, so all you're going to do is add a little bit of sesame oil. When I say a little, for me, you know, a little can be anything from like 2 tablespoons to 8. It's got that dark, deep flavor. Fresh limes. We just want the juice. It's just got to go in like that. Probably the juice of 2 limes, and it's got that lovely sharp flavor that's associated with Thai food. Some brown sugar just to give it that sweetness, and that's going to sort out the bite of the lime juice and the garlic, so quite a bit of it. I'd reckon probably about 3 tablespoons. We're going to just mix this up a bit. Now the last ingredient I have to add is some chilies and some sliced mango. The chilies I'm just going to drizzle all over the salad because what I want people to do is unexpectedly bite into it, and then you're going to get that flavor right then and there. These are from my own garden and I know they're very hot, so I'm only going to use like 3 or 4 of them. It's kind of like the Bonello surprise in our meal. Chuck those in, some tatsoi, and this you're just going to break up. Normally they would use that hard fibrous section at the bottom. These haven't been cooked, just break it up like that. So the last ingredient I've got to add before I chuck in the prawns is some mango, and they're beautiful and sweet. We're just going to peel them, and I think they'll make a fantastic contrast to the chili, the garlic, the sesame oil. They'll just even the whole salad out. Now I'm making 3 salads today. This is kind of like a seafood one. I'm doing a warm tomato salad one with some green beans and mange too, and also one I tried out for the first time the other night. Quite proud of it. It's a warm mushroom salad. It's different to the one that I cook for you guys in the Cedarburg. And we're just going to slice straight in. Nice big chunky pieces. All right, Garth. What I need you to do is take those prawns, or maybe I'll do it because I just chuck them in here. And let me toss it a bit, and then you're going to add in the sesame oil with the garlic and the ginger and the sugar and the lime juice. And we're going to toss that all around, and what should happen is all those flavors will get infused around the leaves, so you're going to end up with a sweet, nasty, biting salad. Yeah. Nicely tossed up. I think all we have to do is refrigerate this and start the next one. Thanks, Garth. In the second of our 3 salads, I'm really just cooking up some tomatoes because everyone forgets that tomatoes, you don't have to eat them raw in the salad. Sometimes it's nice to cook them up a little bit so they start caramelizing and sweating, and all those beautiful flavors are going to be released into olive oil and garlic and stuff, and then toss it into a salad. So the first thing I'm going to do is blanch some green beans and some mange too in some salted water. Now the idea with blanching is not to overdo it, so we're only going to leave these in for about 2 or 3 minutes just to get some flavor, and then we're going to take them off the heat and put them under cold water immediately, because you don't want to have those sort of sloppy vegetables that are overcooked, because you're going to lose all the nutrition and goodness that they naturally have. Next thing I'm going to do is slice up some garlic, some spring onions, and just pan fry them a little bit in some olive oil. When I say a little bit of olive oil, I actually mean a lot, because this is what's going to coat the leaves of the rocket and stuff with the flavor of the tomato. Then we're going to chop up some tomatoes roughly, skin and all, and let them pan fry with the garlic and the onion and the spring onions until they start sweating out those beautiful flavors. If I add them into the rocket now, what's going to happen is it'll kill the rocket. While the tomatoes are cooling down, I'm going to start on the last salad, because with the tomato salad, all we have left to do is chuck it together with the rocket leaves, some feta, the beans and the mange too. And that's a salad on its own. This one's a warm mushroom salad. So what we're going to do is chuck these on the fire, straight. Garth's going to put a little bit of butter on top. And brown mushrooms on the fire, going to develop a fantastic flavor. And that's what this whole salad's about, is actually the mushrooms. Once they've cooked up nicely, we'll slice them up, add them into the salad. Salad leaves everything from pak choy right the way across to rocket, some pepper, lettuce and stuff. The first thing I've got to do is blanch some broccoli. Blanching, really just salted water, and you just par cooking stuff because you want to retain the nutrients. Then I'm going to make a paste out of garlic and almonds, and it can be a little bit chunky like that. Chuck it in with your broccoli with a little bit of a lime, sesame oil. Now, what that means is those flavors are going to be all around the broccoli. So when you chuck it into the salad with all the nice mixed leaves and stuff, they're going to retain that flavor localized to where they are. So when you start eating the mushrooms and things, you'll have that crushed almond and garlic paste. We're going to chuck in some avo just to even it out. You'll have mushrooms covered in butter and garlic and stuff with the sweet Indonesian soy sauce. And that's going to go straight into the salad. And all those flavors are going to really be superb coated over the leaves. We're just going to give it a little twirl, get those mushrooms mixed in. Again, coat the leaves with all that lovely flavor. Raspberries. If you don't have raspberries, you can also use strawberries, just roughly sliced up. I'm going to put these on the table.
And Justin's gonna cook us dessert for the second round, you see. Apple crumble pie or crumble, apple pie or pie that crumbles in appleness, and I will have to see. It tastes beautiful to me, and the lights you're gonna see. And I will have to be at the same spot all to be. You know the secrets to survival, Paternoster at the beach camp, so I'll be. Lift your head in the light, you'll see that someone's gotta survive. And your guitar heats up pretty quickly, and the strings might snap, and you'll have to cave back, and you'll have to find the music shop's number, Sonia, if you can, bringing up in all those that you can. And the muffler for the boom mic might caught fire soon. Might have caught fire while I was singing and thinking, and all those things are true. Baby's gonna be a surprise with you today. Tomato salad all along. I like, I think I wanna have it, take it along.